Alright, so I didn't really hear from anybody or anything in the chat, so tonight for our second deck, we're going to be playing Boros Cycling. It's a deck that I really like. I really enjoy the deck. It's a lot of fun. I played Cycling. I mean, I've played Cycling while it was in Standard for some time now, so it's a pretty stock list. These are all the things that I found people are playing. A couple Chandras in the main. That's a little bit of a spicy take on it. But Sideboard's just kind of composed of cards that I think are pretty solid. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't turn off any of our stuff. Devout Degree's a good removal spell. Hushbringer's good against the Pact deck. And Shredded Cells, Rip Apart, like Timely Reinforcements, Clarion, Chandra are all just good cards. There's nothing really, nothing really special about those cards. They're just good cards, so. Alright, change the title to Boros Cycling, and away we go. I haven't played the cycling deck in Historic in a while, so I'm kind of interested to see how it does, how it plays, what it feels like, kind of thing. So, Billiam, interesting. This is a good hand. We'll keep this. Okay. If he has a removal spell, your deck is practically standard. Yeah, I mean it basically is. Like you add the Forgotten Caves, like the red-white cycling lands, and you add Chandras and cast outs, and it's basically the deck. So yeah, it basically is a standard deck. I think that's kind of what I enjoy about it, honestly. Play Drain Stinger, say go. Nighthawk Scavenger, interesting. Just like mono black Death Touch or something. Cycle this for 1. Play the land. No attacks, and we'll say go. Yep, and again, we're just kind of taking 5 here, so. Oh, this is just mono black vampires. Interesting. See what we can make happen here. We can block stuff on the ground. We can't block the Nighthawk Scavenger, so we're going to have to hold up. We're going to have to keep cast out for the Nighthawk Scavenger. They're debating what they should Fatal Push here. Nothing. Interesting. That's the cool thing about this deck is that it really, like, it gets in for a lot of damage real quick, so. This Champion of Dusk. Attacks. Defending player chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard. Wow, that's pretty good. Just kidding, I lied. We're gonna exile that thing. So they're forced to pick what they want to kill here at least. We're at least forcing them to make somewhat of a decision here. Okay, they're not going to make any decision because they realize that they're going to lose it no matter what. Zenith Flare is a really good draw step here. Like, having Zenith Flare is really solid. Okay, it's interesting. I guess I just had a third card in there to do that with, didn't I? I don't know what we're looking for at this point, but... So yeah, I just completely missed that. That was just a throw. That was just a punt on my part. So... Shredded Cells. Probably want Rip Apart the Chandra. And we can cut Valiant Rescuer. Well, maybe we don't want all of those cards. Maybe we don't want the Chandra. Maybe we can have 2 Rip Aparts and 2 of those, and we can cut 2 Rescuers and 2 Healers. I think having the Rescuers is actually more important because it just makes bodies. So having blockers here is really good. Plus having our, 10 removal spells in total in the deck as a way to beat their flyers seems pretty solid. We'll keep this. This hand seems okay. Lead on pathway, Sego. Okay. You'll probably take our Draenei Stinger here because it's our only card that really turns on, but it's really our only option here in the deck. And if not, they're gonna take Cast Out. So means they have a removal spell. Well, that's what we thought last game, but they didn't. So I mean, I guess it's hard to tell. They didn't have a removal spell last game, so... Now see, this is okay because now we can either play both of those next turn, or we can play Nighthawk Scavenger. So this is going to be pretty good. It's going to allow us to really make a lot of bodies here. Creature land enchantment. Ah, Aura, I guess. Double removal spell there. Okay, that's pretty solid. Cycle this. Kill you one. We're just gonna say go here. Okay, Inquisition's fine. You can't take either of our spells, so. Okay. Sego, we're going to cast out the Nighthawk Scavenger. And then we have a massive Lightning Helix for the Champion of Dusk. Because it's going to be tough to beat a 4-4. Zenith Flare, the Champion of Dusk. We'll go to 16. And then we'll go back to 14. Because we're going to leave our Drannith Stinger on the field. It's going to be one of our ways to like try and turn this game around. No blocks. Interesting. So even if we would draw fourth one in a row, it wouldn't really matter. So we don't care to let them Inquisition us because it just doesn't matter here. Yeah, I guess we have to take this here. Like, I don't really see it working out for us any better, so. Yep, our opponent goes to 25. Alright, well, our opponent's drawing extremely well. Like, probably the best draws that they could have in their possible deck, so. Minus on the Murderous Rider. I mean, we're gonna try and make something happen here. Like, I don't really know what that is yet, but we're gonna try and make something happen. Our opponent's drawn exceptionally well so far. Like, don't get me wrong, they've flooded, but they've drawn exactly in the cards that they needed at certain times. We're probably just gonna obliterate our Chandra here. I mean, as much as they'd like to just go after us, they know we have a Zenith Flare, so I don't think the thought of them like cast out. There's what, 3 cast outs in our deck? I'm sorry. There's 2 more cast outs in our deck. Play the Fox. Hit you for 1. Or cycle the fox, I mean. Put you to 19. Say go. It's not crazy to think that we could actually win this game somehow, which is a little surprising if I'm just being honest. Yeah, we're going to go to 5. Okay. So unless they thought sees me here, I'm actually just going to cycle my Dranistinger and just try to go for broke here. We're going to say go here. Our opponent's gotten pretty low here, so like Chandra was a good is a good card to have, but Sorin is pretty good. Okay. So we're going to put our opponent to 3 here. We're going to dome them for quite a bit. And then let's see, they can pump once, which makes that 5, 10, 15. Yeah, no blocks. Maybe Chandra and Minos will be good enough to push us over the finish line. I doubt it, but you never know. Because right now they're sitting at 5. Well, they have a block. Well, they only have 1 blocker, which doesn't really matter, so. Well, cast out's a little too late to the party here. Yep, that's unfortunate. That was a like a weird series of games. I don't know. Like our opponent didn't draw like insanely well, but they didn't draw terribly either. Like they drew exactly mana. Like they were allowed like it. The way they drew off their castles allowed them to use all of their mana almost every turn. Like they drew into a Heartless Act, which allowed them to tap out, and then another turn they drew into a Gifted Aetherborn. Like it was, I don't know. Like that was their draws just kind of like were just annoying enough to win in that game because we almost won. That was a really close game. We're gonna keep this hand. Concealed Courtyard. And a Thought sees us. Wonder what you're taking. Taking Chandra or Dranistinger? Okay. And I can get on board with that. I would say this is Aura's, but they don't have Luris. Oh, it's Mardu something. Mardu leading with Thoughtseize. Go on. Okay. It's like Mardu mid-range or something. I mean, make a big fox and get in there. Like, unless they're like hanging on to like unlicensed disintegration. I mean, like they're playing Mardu, so they have plenty of cards that can deal with a fox, like with the fox. But I think just like applying the pressure like that's a good place to start. Hopefully they run out their Bone Crusher Giant here so that we can just play. We can play the white side of our Needle Verge pathway, and then we can just minus with Chandra and put our opponent to 9. They have nothing, and we're going into a turn with a Planeswalker and a 4/4, but that doesn't appear to be the case here. Yep, take our Chandra. Oh, so this is like a Mardu Vehicles kind of thing. I mean, we're just going to get aggressive here. Like, it's probably a little too aggressive, honestly, but that's basically my MO when I play Magic, is that I play a little too aggressively. I have our opponent at 3. So, I mean, our opponent's basically playing Mardu Vehicles. Yeah, if they get lifelink, yeah, no blocks. And then unless they have like a land removal spell, they're just dead. Intertesting. Intertesting indeed. I don't think Clarion's very good. Grafdigger's Cage could be okay. Rip Apart seems okay. Bring in Rip Apart. Bring in a Chandra. Cut the healers. Try it like that. That seems okay. I think that's one thing that makes the cycling deck so good, is that it's very like versatile. Like it can change gears when it needs to. A lot of its spells can be either fuel your cycling game plan, or they're things that like you can just cycle them to draw more cards, or they fuel your cycling plan. So it's I don't know. I just really like the way the deck plays. I think considering we have the Forgotten Cave also, this is basically 4 lands and 3 spells when I see this hand. So drawing Flourishing Fox was a really good draw step. We're going to play the Flourishing Fox here. Heart of Karen, okay. So play Flameblade Adept. Cycle this. Fights target creature you don't control. So it's pretty good. We have semi-removal spells in our hand. So you know, Mardu Vehicles might not be terrible with the flip lands and the shock lands. You could probably make that mana base work, honestly, in Historic. I think you pretty much get the entire deck in Historic, too. Yeah, I think so. cards that this could be here. Okay, Scrap Heap Scrounger. Alright. Now, this means they either have Fatal Push, or they have... This is a pretty aggressive turn. Now, they could have a Fatal Push here or something, but we are going to try and get in. Fatal Push on the Fox here would be pretty rough. Yep. What we were afraid of. I think I have a lot of the lands for this deck. The only thing I think I'm missing would be the red-black pathway and the concealed courtyards. Okay. So let's try to make something happen here. So... Now, we really have to hope they don't have a removal spell here, because if they do, we're just dead. But they have to have a creature to crew the Heart of Cairn and be able to attack. Thought sees us? Okay. Means one of two things. They're either preparing for a longer game, or they've got the win wrapped up, and this is an information Thought sees. Not that I really, like... What's the point in an information Thought sees, honestly, but I didn't realize that was a triggered ability. I mean, I guess it makes sense, I just didn't think about it, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I believe in you.
Don't really see us getting out of this one, but we are going to try. We go to 10, we go to 11. Well, Zenith Flare was a pretty good draw there. That actually lets us win. Oh, man. Oh, what a way to win a game. Wow. All right. You take those. I mean, I can't blame our opponent for doing that, but like I think thought seizing there was a good idea. Yeah, one shotty, yeah, that's for sure. That was actually pretty insane right there to get to do that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I can't blame our opponent for casting the for casting the thought seize right there. I think I would have in their spot, but that was just a that was an insanely good like draw step right there. We'll keep this hand. This hand's good. Play Mountains, I go. Cycle the Footfall Crater. Yeah, I mean, they're taking the Zenith Flare here. Like, I don't know what plays Swamp and Duress. It's pretty aggressive main main strategy, but we can run out the Rescuer here because we have another one followed by something we can cycle. Maybe they're playing Duress instead of Thoughtseize. Maybe this is like a budget build. Red-black. Eliminate. Okay. We're just going to wait and cycle the Forgotten Cave here. So we're holding the Flourishing Fox to cycle. Actually, we're holding the Flourishing Fox to... We're going to discard this to the Croxa here. So is this like... I'm not going to lie, this feels like a budget Rakdos Pyromancer deck. Our opponent concedes. Okay. Well, we know we want our Grafdigger's Cages here. 1, 2, 3... I'm going to be honest, like, we probably want the Devout Decrees. Again, probably cut the Draenith Healers. And I guess we can cut a Footfall Crater. It has the least impact. Bring in good sideboard cards. Cut the cards that seem to do the least. I cut Draenith Healer a lot. One of the only times I don't cut it is when we're playing against an aggro deck and I need to gain life. Oh, I'm out of water. That's sad. We're up a game here over what feels like budget Rakdos Pyromancer. And you know, the funny, like, I don't ever blame our opponents for playing budget on Arena. This is a weird hand, but we have the cage, so we're going to keep. Hey. Okay, we're just going to lead on Secluded Step here. Burglar Rat. The hell is this? I guess we'll discard Flameblade Adept. We're going to play Flourishing Fox. We're actually just going to play both the Flourishing Foxes here and just try to make them both relevant. Oh, is this double removal spell? Yep, serve it up, big man. I ain't blocking. Eliminate one, like Fatal Push the other. Cycle. Cycle Flourishing Fox, play Grafdigger's Cage, attack for 3. Well, Rankle's a bitch. So this isn't budget. It's just Rakdos discardy aggro. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what we're playing against here. Each opponent discards a card. We'll discard our cycler. Each player sacks a creature. Yep. We want to land here. I guess that's not bad either because we can play our Rescuer and then play Go for Blood. So as long as we don't have another Rankle here, we're okay. Oh god. Well, that was pretty brutal. Well, we're gonna start by cycling. And exile that player's graveyard. Oof. Alright, it's gonna need to be a good draw step. Zenith Flare's not great. I mean, like, Zenith Flare would normally be great, but they're playing, like, Go Blank. Is that what it's called? Yep. Then they get to pick and we get to respond here. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card? Okay. They must have drawn that after combat. Burglar Rat. That's a heck of a magic card. And by heck of a magic card, I mean like a weird one. Okay, so now we have more of an idea of what our opponent's playing. I don't think Grafdigger's Cage is that important. I mean, I say that and we'll lose to Croxa, but doesn't feel like that big of a deal. We'll bring in Shredded Cells. Wait, and yeah. Have an extra body this way in case they're playing lots of removal spells. Just kind of leaving ourselves open to whatever we need. Rip Apart for Rankle, maybe? Rip Apart for Rankle could definitely be something to consider. That's actually why I brought in the Shredded Cells. Is just to try and like help. It cycles for 2 or it beats up on Rankle. So plus its instant speed. It's very possible that Rip Apart would just be better just because it deals with more stuff. So it's very possible that was that Rip Apart was better than Shredded Cells, yeah. Well, our opponent's really in the tank here about what to sideboard. Here we go. We will play first for the last one. Gonna have to mulligan that. There's no lands. I think we can keep this. I know this sounds weird, but I think we're gonna put back the Zenith Flare. Or nope, that's not what I wanted. Might have been wrong to have played the Forgotten Cave, but occasionally I do play them for lands, so. We're gonna play the Flameblade Adept here. Alright, so our opponent had no one drop. Burglar Rat. I guess we're going to discard Devout Decree. So we're just going to play Valiant Rescuer here because there is, like, if they go to kill it, we're going to cycle Cast Out in response. But if they don't, we're just going to hold Cast Out because Cast Out could be a good card. So, okay. So let's get some value off our Valiant Rescuer here. Secluded Step's not a bad one. Neither of those lands allow us to play Chandra this turn, so there's no reason to keep them. We're going to crash in for 4 here. They'll probably block the token, if I had to guess. We're going to hold on to the Cast Out. Might be worth to keep over time. Probably get a mountain here. Rankle, yeah. Yep, let's see what they put on the stack here. Interesting. So I think we're just going to let that happen. We'll discard a Flourishing Fox. Sorry, I don't normally walk away when things happen like that, but you guys may not know her, but Carly, my girlfriend, she just received an awesome job opportunity, and she's been waiting to hear back for a few days now, and she finally heard back today, and she got the job, so she's super excited and super hype about it, and it's a great opportunity, so sorry, I had to take a moment to congratulate her for that, so she works her ass off all the time, and she is getting what she deserves. So we're going to cast the Rescuer here, and because we're going to lose our Chandra no matter what we do here, and we're going to try to make something happen. We're going to save this and make another token. This doesn't feel, I don't know, them having back-to-back Rankles here. Them hitting our Planeswalker is good for us because it at least tells us that they're not going to get the they're not going to get the trigger to make us do anything. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 cycling cards in our graveyard. So I'm going to cycle this to make a token. Hopefully we don't hit like a Zenith Flare or something crazy. I mean, we still get a token off this, which is fine. So see, this is such a weird... we're going to cycle and hope we hit a land or something. Attack for 2 here. Play Blade Adept. We would have liked to have hit like a powerhouse card right there. Like a Chandra, a Zenith Flare. A Zenith Flare would have been like a bomb right there. Yep. They're going to do nothing with their Rankle. That's very interesting. I am all kinds of intrigued by that. Shredded Cells was a really good pickup here because it takes their Rankle off the table. Yep. Village Rites in this deck seems really cool. Like, it doesn't seem very conventional in this kind of deck, but it does seem really cool. So, kill your Rankle in response. I mean, yeah, the Go Blank is pretty good because it takes all of our Zenith Flares offline. But, man, Go Blank is just like Graveyard Hate and Hand Hate at the same time. Like, it's just such a good card. We're going to put our opponent to 8 and then play our Flameblade Adept. Okay, we're going to put our opponent to 9 then play our Flameblade Adept. They had a removal spell. Okay. So we're going to attack for 1. Nothing in our deck has haste. We're going to cycle this and see what we hit. We might as well play the Mountain. They might make us discard it, and there's no point in posturing. They have spells in their hand because they haven't played a land. So they just threw the land for the turn. I'm just going to hold on to this cast out just in case they play something. And they're playing Waste Not. Waste Not is such an interesting Magic card. We're just going to fire this off in response. I don't want them to have any value off of that thing, so them continuing to exile my graveyard is really good. Like, they just kind of keep taking it to us that way. There's 31 cards left in our deck, so we've seen quite a bit of our deck here. Alright, I have to have something pretty good. So I think I want to hold the Shredded Cells here in case they draw a Rankle. We don't want to allow them to be able to play into anything. Plus, we're just winning on the board. Man. Okay, I mean, sure, we take 3, but they haven't played a land yet, so... Oh, they're going to Village Rites. Oh, they have a Village Rites. Okay, that's fine. Anything that cycles win the game off the top. Oh. Yeah, I was like, okay, sure, that's fine, but you're dead. Well, cool. Well, that was a good win. That was a pretty good turnout with our cycling deck. I wasn't felt pretty solid. I'm gonna be honest. I think so normally I'd play more games of Magic. Honestly, it's only 9:30, but Carly got this job and she's super excited about it, and I'm super excited for her. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really feel like playing Magic right now. I just kind of want to hang out with Carly and celebrate. So this was it for Magic and streaming tonight. Normally I wouldn't cut it short this early, but sorry. The cycling deck's really cool. I mean, it's kind of like what I talked about earlier. It has a lot of versatility. It can go very aggressive, and it also draws a lot of cards. So it reminds me of how Feather gets to scry a lot in Pioneer, and how it was in Standard. How Feather got to scry a whole bunch. This deck gets to cycle and draw a whole bunch of cards. So yes, you are correct, my friend. Yeah, ladies first. That is for sure. But if you came by tonight and hung out, I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow. I'm not really sure what I'll be playing tomorrow. Probably playing some more Arena. I've been really enjoying Arena. But I appreciate you guys hanging out, and I will see you guys tomorrow.